Okay, I just want to go over the damaging loop so you understand how you're doing damage in the game. So pretty much you're casting Spark and you know, infuse Spark pretty much all the time, which then creates your energy for your cast on crits, and that's gonna create your Grim Pillars, which your Grim Pillars is gonna land at the target location wherever your Spark hits, and you know, creating 10 to 20 pillars, and those pillars are gonna explode with your next Spark. So let's get some pillars up, and if I Spark again, and it blows them up, and yeah, and then obviously your other cast on crit is generating comment, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So you're running around, just sparking everything up. Grim Pillars getting created, they explode. The comets come down for some big, you know, single target damage or AoE damage with your cascades, and that's literally it. So that is how the damage life cycle works. This build. Hey, thanks for stopping by my YouTube channel. This is my Unkillable Mana Stacker Boss Slayer Crit Remnant Infuser build. Ritualist, or for short, UMSBSCRIB. Make it easy. I'm Royalty. This is my showcase that I want to show to you guys today. Basically, I tend to rant and a lot through these videos, so I'm going to try to keep this one straightforward and linear. So let's jump right in, and then I'm going to go over everything that I think you need to know. So that we're just going to start with pros and cons. Pros for the build: you don't need to push any flasks, so if you don't like flasks, build's for you. Female character, which is just a W. Nobody wants to hear grunting all day from a dude. It's a one button build, so your 2 cast on crits and your spell slinger takes care of everything else. The build runs on instant runic word regeneration. Runic word regeneration, that's a tongue twister. 100% spell up time, so no need to wait for like no need to wait for your mana to come back in order to use your spells, because it's instant. We have insanely high mana regen numbers. Right now we're at 933 with 40% less on our rune right here, but this rune is very necessary, which I'll go over later. The build can eventually evolve into like Temporalis, you know, blink build, and with the Dorn Jewel setup, where your main damage will become comment. But for now, this is like the in-game. This is like the, I don't want to say budget, but it's like the regular version of what this Spark Comet build can look like. It costs around 1,500 to 2,000 divines to feel good, and I'll go over the breakdowns of that later. But there's a lot of mandatory things you need, so I'm just gonna throw this in the pro section. I don't know why it's here, but I'm just gonna go over it now. So for a mandatory item, you need to have 300 to 400 divs worth of jewels, so roughly 4 or 5 jewels, sapphires. You need a mnemonic ring for your mana stacking, and then you would use a Calandra Struts, obviously. And then you would need a second ring in your 3rd slot if you're playing Ritualist, and that can cost anywhere between like 1 to 200 divs. And then you need to have, I don't know why it's not here. I think I deleted it. The Ad Series Communion, which is like 480 divs. And then you also need a jewel for the Conduit Jewel. I think it's the, let's take a look at it real quick. Sorry, I deleted my note. Yeah, the From Nothing Diamond for Conduit, and that's like around 300. So with that said, yeah, I don't know. That's just the build cost, like to just even get started, not including your wand and all your other gear. But without those things, the build doesn't work. So another pro about the build, you can play this build on a few different classes or ascendancies, and if your budget is high, so basically if you have a super high budget, you can play this on any build you want in the game, pretty much. And especially with the split personalities Ruby's in, yeah, for sure, no problem. And then the build actually gets stronger the more enemies that are around you and or you're hitting and killing. So I consider that a pro myself. Cons, it's it's a walking build. It doesn't have temporalis, but you can always go into it. So you basically need to maximize your move speed when you can, and then also walking builds, you know, doing any delirium maps or maps with delirium in it. It's just annoying when the mirror spot on you, and then, you know, body blocks you and like makes you stutter, and then you get light stunned, and then it's, you know, bad situations sometimes. But for the most part, the build deletes the screen, so it's not too bad. Some of the gear can be scarce or like wildly overpriced, like in like the type of build setup that I have here. So that's kind of like one bad thing about it. And then you can also just craft the gear if you want, and then get relatively the same stuff. But if your RNG is bad on some of these pieces, like you might end up spending more than if you just paid for it. So you do that with, or you do with what you want with that, with that information. And then the one big con with like mana builds, or like the, you know, the mobs with the mana rings, I rarely have any issues with it. Like 99.99% of the time, like they're not a problem at all. People who say like mana builds are bad because, you know, this one mod on this one monster destroys your build and you're just gonna die. It's not true. The mob dies anyway. I've done super expedition, fucking unkillable mana ring mobs, and the build handles it just fine. So don't be worried about that. It's really a non-issue. You could say that about anything with you can say that about a boss with Asmiri Spirit with Wolf on it. You know what I mean? Like, it's just nitpicking. People just want to talk shit. So and if you do run into a situation where you know, are running out of mana, so you got one or two of those things spawn on you, I mean, it is a problem, but we do have a life pool. So even if we lost our life, that's why we're doing it the way we're doing it. You do have a little bit of life, so you can run away. So most of the time you're not getting hit when you're in that ring because it's not in melee range. It's like right out. So if that's the case, all you need to do is pause your game, hit return to character selection, and then when it's like loading into character selection, like when the screen goes black, just Alt F4, load your game back up, and you can go back into any map you open. There, you don't lose your portals or anything. It just takes you right back to the start, and you just run back to where you were at. So that's a little trick for you guys. And that's it for the cons, in my opinion. We're just gonna again streamline through this. So skills, we're gonna go with Spellslinger first. One thing I'll say, the build needs to have a Spellslinger wand. You don't want to buy a tuning runic fork. And then you also would like to have a macro setup. So for controller, I'm not really sure how this would work, but just make sure your macro is pushing only one button push per server tick, or like server second, sorry. So it's, make sure your macro is basically hitting Spellslinger like once a second, no more than that. Otherwise it's as far as I know, that's bad, and then GGG might, you know, take you for a ban or whatever. But so we're gonna go with powered by Verisium. Level 20 is fine. No need to like downscale it unless you want to. You get 3 with the like lower level, and you get 5 with the you know, with the higher level. For me, it's not a problem because we have this rune that's regenerating our runic ward like instantaneously as soon as we use it, so not a problem. So we just do powered by Verisium. So we create Verisium infusions, which turn into any of the other 3 infusions that we can use on our skills. Currently, this build only uses fire infusions, and it uses lightning infusions for our skills, which I'll go over later. But these basically every couple seconds you get three powered by Verisium remnants, and then those turn into infusions. Yada yada. You'll understand a little bit more later. We got boundless energy efficiency, just to keep our costs as low as possible, and then cooldown recovery to, you know, speed things up. You can throw arc in here, but I like it for mapping. It will take you in like a half mana edge or half mana scenarios quite often, because arc is kind of a high mana cost spell, and how often this thing goes off. So if you're comfortable being like a half mana sometimes when you're walking around maps, then I would just recommend use arc. I've tried comet in here. I've tried a couple of different things. I mean, arc's the best, but for like big uber bosses, you might want to take it off just so you don't just get like in a threshold where you can get one shot, but for the most part this is fine. And or if you don't know, arc makes the enemies explode basically, pretty much. Just leave it at that for now. I'll go over it more later because I do have an arc spell down here for manual cast, but it's not that big of a deal. Sorry, my voice is going dry. And then for spark, so we have a 500k tooltip. I mean, again, tooltips are like good to see, but they're not end all be all damage. We have base crit 61.92, and then our sparks are base almost always, like 95% of the time, are going to be cold infused. So all our sparks are doing about 1.4 without any buffs, million damage, and that's spread out over 19 projectiles, and then around your character. And then spark, whether it's not infused, it'll just shoot the sparks out in front of you, 12 projectiles, and then that damage is divided by 12 and 19 respectively, or if it's cold infused or not. But anyway, so our spark is a damage dealer, and it also is our Grim Pillar Destroyer. So we'll get into that in a second as well. And then for our last skill gem, we use Runic Extraction, and you don't actually need this for the build to work. It just gives you more remnants for Verisium Infusion remnants, so just even more chances for you to have infusions for your comet, pretty much, in arc spell. But again, I think there's a cap on how many like infusions you can even use at a time, so this is kind of like probably not necessary, but I like to use it anyway. And if you want to take that out, you can throw in Rakiata here, you can throw in Pierce, you can throw in Pinpoint Critical, or you can throw in Mobility if you want to move a little faster while you're walking and casting spells. But for me, it's just fine to use this. And you can also, if you don't like to use Proj Acceleration 3, you can throw in a Valenta's Propulsion. A lot of people do that. It's just more projectile speed for more bounces around, more critting, etc. But for me, the damage was it makes more sense to use the damage. If I swap this out for this, we're at 513, and it stays here. But again, we're actually hitting more mobs with this on. But I like the tooltips like that. Then we'll go into our first cast on crit. So we'll go with the Grim Pillars. So Grim Pillars, if you don't know, creates 10 to 20 pillars at a time. Spark explodes them all for like a big AoE explosion. And damage and speed. Damage and speed is also cold damage, so it works well with your cold remnants for Siphon Elements, which in turns gives us another remnant to pick up, which gives us more mana from this skill right here. These type of skills where you recover maximum mana per remnant you pick up, and we pick up a shit ton of remnants, so it's like I'd say 50% mana regen just alone from picking up remnants all the time. But back to Grim Pillars. So we attach Living Bomb to this cast on crit, and it's very simple. It just blows up the enemies and leaves behind a fire infusion, which then in turn we can use for our comets, which comet we'll get into in a second doubles its damage with fire infusions. And we use Arbiter's Ignition. It's just an all-around good skill, like half the time, so like 50% of the time. I think it's like 15 seconds uptime, 20 seconds downtime or something. So you can have Elemental Archon for like 15 seconds, then it's off for like 20 seconds. But it's just straight 25% more elemental damage, 100% flammability, 100% freeze, 100% electrocute, increased chance. You can read it right here, or you read it on the DB or whatever you want. So I throw that in there because why not? And where's being a little power passive? 1 second. Okay, so and then our last skill in our first cast on crit with 5 slots, is Creeping Chill. So basically, it consumes a power charge, which works in tandem with 2 of your abilities. The first being the Well of Power passive, which equals basically 10 or 11% mana on consuming a charge. We consume charges constantly, and we also get a little bit of crit damage bonus for free as well for that passive point. I'll show you in the map in just 1 sec. Passive map. The next is the skill itself. It creates it consumes a power charge to create chilled ground, which is why we put it like a point into ice walls. I believe that also sorry, I wrote this wrong. Basically the extra 200% on Ice Crystal Life creates a bigger area of explosion for your your chilled ground. But as far as I can tell, chilled ground does nothing to the enemies, so it might be a complete waste of time. It was kind of like a 2 birds 1 stone thing, but I still get the 11% mana and the extra crit damage bonus. But the chill ground, as far as I know, it's not really interacting with anything. And then those passives are this one right here. So you grab all 3 of these, so you recover 11% mana, and you get the crit damage bonus when you consume a power charge. And then you also grab ice. Where's it at? Ice walls, which increases the life, which increases the damage, I think, and then also increases the radius of the chilling ground, which you can probably see in the video, the clip. And so that's why we have Creeping Chill in here. 1 sec. Okay, and our second one, so we just used the regular cast on crit comet. Pretty much, I accidentally bought an amulet. I'm sure I'm not the only sucker that's done this. I've known about this. Basically, when you buy an amulet, just go to the trade website. Don't use the end game trade, because it'll show you how many jewels or how many sockets, support sockets are in the skill itself. And I bought one with 4. Oops. I'm gonna change it to 5 eventually, but for now this is what I'm stuck with. And then yeah, it's just your basic cast on crit comet, spell cascade, efficiency, zenith, and then whenever we get a 5th gem, put whatever here. It's not a big deal. But again, it uses fire infusions, so if you don't know, it does fire infuse damage, which doubles its damage, just exactly triples it. I mean doubles it with the fire and cold. So, which also helps you with your siphon elements to create more remnants, and then you see how the circle goes, right? So that's the comet, cast on crit comet. And then Archmage, it's non-negotiable. Pull it up here. Basically 3x your damage. Like if I turn it off, you can see here, if I turn this off, my spark goes to 179. If I keep it on, you know, I'm at 513. So it's non-negotiable. You must have it. And then you have just clarity for mana regen, and then you can throw your ad series community in here to get you low life, considered low life. And again, siphon elements. Basically, when you free shock ignite target, you get a chance to spawn remnants, so it's even more remnants. If you haven't noticed, this whole build revolves around them. And then you also have just your basic stuff in here: harmonic remnant, remnant potency, clarity, and then you also have mana remnants. So when you 25% chance to gain a remnant when you kill an enemy, and then also you can spawn a remnant on critically hitting an enemy with an element. So basically all the time. So, and those give 321 mana as well. So we are surrounded by mana, even though our mana regen is relatively low because of this rune that we have to use for a runic word. It's 900, still pretty big to be honest, but it's we're 100% mana like all the time when we're fighting. No issues. Arc. So arc is like the big explosion. Once it's infused with lightning, it chains. It does a shit ton more damage, and I pretty much have it on manual cast right now because I didn't have it in my spell slinger before. It just blows up a big rare or a big group of rares, and then it procs all your comets. So it's just like you need to clear the screen quick, and your spark isn't cutting it. Just throw in an arc, and then when it's infused from either your remnants, Verisium remnant infusions, or your lightning infusion, you'll see it just blows up everything. And then ball lightning, I was using ball lightning just to when it's infused, it creates ignited ground. That was helping me get some more fire infusions while early when I was building the build. So now it's just kind of sitting here and doing nothing. But you can throw it in there if you're bored or you want to, or you're waiting for a boss to spawn or something. You can throw it on some fire. I think that's kind of it. Yeah, that's it for the support gems and the skills. I think I've covered everything pretty much. We have really high crit, so it's, you know, we're at 75% crit just standing here. There's a lot of skills that implement a lot more crit, and also I have Spirit of the Cat, so at times I'm pretty sure I'm at almost 100%. So that's why I'm not really using Pierce, because I don't need the Pierce to keep hitting enemies. I don't really care because my crit's so high anyway. And then we can go into the, let's go into PassiveTree and jewels. So let me pull up my Baby Ninja. I'll leave this in the description if you guys want to check it out yourself. I plan on playing this build for like at least 2 more weeks, the minimum. So yeah, you guys can check it out for the live updates. I play it daily, and basically I'm just going to show you the jewels that I have. I have the controlled metamorphosis, which allows us to grab some stuff here, and then I have the from nothing conduit, which I was saying before, which is around 300 divines. I have a heart of the well just to get a little extra gain fire, which helps us get more fire remnants, because if you don't know, fire remnants are what make your comet good. So you want as much as possible. And then I got a pretty OP megalomaniac, so it's got Paragon, which is the thing that gives you 5% extra percent on your skill gems, and then light on your feet, which makes you immune to, I think, maim and hinder, and also gives you some move speed. So it's really good for expedition. Then I have voices that I bought a couple weeks ago, like a week ago or so, and that just gives us an extra jewel slot pretty much. And then I have just the generic 5 mod sapphires here. You can see I think one of them is missing 1 mod, so I need to replace this. And then we also have this Giga Time Lost Sapphire, which enables us to grab so many OP nodes right here in the skill tree, which I'll go over shortly. Yep. So those are the jewels, and we're gonna go into the passive tree quickly. I don't have a mobilytics guide yet, but I plan on making one if you guys are interested in this build. There's only like there's like 26 ritualist builds that are damaging spark builds. So if you have a huntress and you're tired of playing your monkey or playing with your monkey, and you want to try something new, maybe you go over to the dark side. We all end up playing spell slinger, or not spell slinger, a spark eventually, spark comet, spark arc, whatever. So you might as well, if you're bored with your time playing your character right now, you can swap over to this, and I'll help you out. If you need any help, just come by my Twitch. But enough plug. We just basically start here, take some attributes, grab some damage, go up here, voices there, go over, we grab harmonic generator for crit, mana cost efficiency, some crit damage bonus, and then proj speed, proj damage, and move speed for Kite Runner. And then you need to have this jewel in order to make this ring appear, so you can apply without connecting. And then I will say, I don't know when I'm going to say it, but basically you want to have your mana before life over 100%. That way, if you ever run out of mana from some kind of mana ring or mana drains enemy, you'll at least have some life to run away, and so you can regenerate your mana back really quickly. So you want this number to be over 100. So as long as this is over 100, you're you'll be fine. You can run it without, but just know if you ever run out of mana, you're gonna insta die. So this has helped me stay alive a lot longer, or a lot more. I'd say like I live 70 in like, I don't know how to say it, like 90% more of the time I survive whatever situation I'm in, pretty much. If I like 99% of the time I'm fine, but 90% of the time before that, or 10% before that, I was dying because you know, I had no life. So just try to get over that. So what I'm trying to say is you can grab this node right here if you need a little bit more on the skill tree to push yourself over a 100%. You get a lot on your gear, so which we'll go over in a sec. So we basically just grab a time loss sapphire with crit damage bonus and crit hit chance, and then mana, and then you grab every single notable you can here, and these are all basically the same notable. They all give their own little like niche additive to the thing, but basically they all have lightning, or they all have mana, they all have crit chance, and they all have crit damage bonus. So it's a super insane jewel, super insane area of the tree, and I would say very mandatory for your damage scaling. One thing I wanted to note is if you need any more, well, you can trade this out, these 3 points or 4 points. Well, you have to add an extra point. You can try to trade this for this, just path over to here, depending on your like what kind of gear you get and stuff. One or the other might help you, so these are interchangeable. You just need to use one extra skill point right here. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this area. And then yeah, so Paragon lets you grab all these, and then we use Eldritch Battery, so all our energy shield gets converted into mana. And then, which is, you know, everyone knows about that. Take Ether Flow, we take spell damage per 100 mana, so that's a ton. And then we take raw mana, of course, to this path over here. We also grab Power and Charge, Infusion of Power on our... Where did I grab that at? Oh yeah, I put it on the Anoint on our helmet. So this allows us to gain charges. So for when we use Elemental Infusions, which is all the time, so this is our 1 power charge generation mechanic, which enables this, which enables Remnants, which helps us get our siphon elements more often. And then also some damage, right? And then we jump down here to grab this jewel slot, and we might as well path over here because you need this 3% max mana when you collect a remnant. And this is any remnant in the game. So again, this is what keeps the build up and afloat. And then I just come over here and grab some mana cost efficiency and some mana regeneration. These are basically like the most important stats for a mana stacker build, is mana cost efficiency and mana regen. Yeah. And then you grab Pain Attunement because we're using Series Communion or whatever it's called. So we're always doing 30% more crit damage bonus, which if you don't know, more is like the god tier stat POV. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the jewels. And the gear. So I just bought this for 1100 divines. It's pretty much like a GG1 for me. I don't think I'm going to upgrade it. Again, you need to have 2 slots, or if you're okay with losing the two levels to spell skills, which just increases your damage pretty much, just use a one rune wand is fine. Just make sure you have this rune inside, because this is what makes the build functional. And then we got just the regular helmet, just some energy shield, whatever. You got to get your resistances up because you're losing 20%. You're losing 20% elemental resist when you're using a ritualist. So you need to ensure that you have at least a resist on pretty much every piece of gear you get, just so you can get over your thresholds. Then also I have a mage blood. It helps a lot. You might actually need the mage blood with bismuth on it. You get 45 free LE resist. That just helps a lot. But I think the build will function just fine without it, because I have 0 chaos damage and chaos resist, and I don't really die ever. So I only ever die when I'm looking away from my screen reading chat, or if the delirium mirror spawns on me or something spawns on me and I get stuck with inside the map or something, or like pinned between some like monsters. That's like the only situations I ever like die in this game right now with this character. But so that's the helmet. I got the cheap version of the Sacred Wrathpith. I think the one that goes to damage is actually, it is better than the crit hit chance, but it's like 1,000 div. So for now I just stuck with the 70 div one, which is just crit hit chance. Just make sure that you get the modifier deleted that says increase 7% of life cost. So make sure that gets deleted before you buy one, so don't buy the wrong one. Again, I bought the Force 4 Gem Sucket Absent Amulet on accident, the cast on crit one. So basically make sure you buy the one with 5 sockets. Other than that, it's like a perfect amulet for me. I think you can get +4, but I just settled with +3. You need to have one of these. Make sure you get your damage is taken from mana before life. Again, you want to get over 100%, in my opinion. And then this also has, you know, you can put a rune socket in here, and yeah, just yeah, that's pretty much it. Third socket's just for fun. Throw whatever you want in here if you want. Rarity, rabbit idol, this curse for so the curses last half as long, etc. And one thing I do want to say is also you pretty much want mana on every piece of gear you get. So your wand, your rings, your belt, or not your belt, sorry, your boots, your yeah, anything you can get it on, you get it on. So that's the chest piece. We'll go for gloves. Basically, it's got 1 dead stat, otherwise it's perfect. Got an extra socket for us so we can help fix our resistances. It has its fizz damage as attacks, but I couldn't get that off. Obviously, if I whittled this off, it's a 1 and 3 to whittle off the fizz damage. 2 attacks, which we don't use attacks, we use spells. So it's kind of a dead stat, but everything else is awesome. It's got max rolled credit chance, 2 proj, 15% chance to gain Arcane Surge, which I didn't go over, but obviously Arcane Surge is insane. And then 30% proj speed and 36% proj speed, 25% damage, or I mean, sorry, vice versa. Yeah, it's turning into a Rainbow session already. And then we got 15% spirit on these boots. Just helps us. You only need 13, I think, to make everything that I have here work. But total mana is 177. So, and I have 12 extra. So you can do the math on that. And I think that's pretty much it for the gear and the skills and stuff. Hopefully I covered everything. Trying to think if I forgot anything. Okay, so I did forget one thing. So when I basically have full uptime on my charms with this node right here. So I consume 25% of my max mana to trigger charm with insufficient charges. So again, I use I use my Ascent Hope for thawing for freeze, and then this helps for stuns. And again, these are up 24/7 pretty much. And also Spirit of the Cat's pretty much up anyway because we're killing rares all the time. But that is one extra thing I wanted to add. And I think that's it. Xerox gift for the extra Jill slot. That's my other anoint. Oh, I didn't go over the rings, I'm sorry. So you need to have one of these rings, the mnemonic rings. Just make sure it's similar to this. I went for mana regeneration. You can do something else, but you want pretty much max roll on as much as you can get, and then you want it to mirror it with a Calandra's ring. And then you can get your second or your third ring if you're playing on Ritualist. So if I take this off, I have 6,000 mana, which is completely fine. So you can do this without a Ritualist build. But I chose to do a Breach Ring. It has Element to resist, so it helps me balance my gear resistances, and then I have mana cost efficiency, some rarity. Wait, I don't have rarity on this. Oh yeah, I do. And yeah, I mean, you can see here what I got. So that was just what I got from my third ring. And that's it. Thanks for watching my build showcase. If you'd like to see more like this video, hit those buttons down below, and then come stop by my Twitch channel. I've streamed every day since the league has started, and for now I have like no plans of quitting the league or stopping anytime soon. So I hope to see you guys there. And I just want to say my last little note for you guys. This is my second time playing a caster build since PU. So I've played since 0.2 pretty much, like the middle 0.2, and it might not be like perfectly explained or optimized. Sorry, I'm not sure who else has made mana builds or like any, you know, I don't really check any creators. I don't have time. So again, it might not be like perfect, but I do learn mostly from, you know, maybe PoE ninjas or DBs, or, you know, people in my chat helping me out or letting me know things that I don't already know. So yeah, so basically I'm gonna ask you if you notice something with this showcase, and you think you know something that can be improved on or fixed, say in the build guide if I make one or whatever, just let me know in the comments, or like stop by my stream, hit me up. I'd love to see you guys there. And yeah, I guess that's it for this one, and that's all for now. So sayonara.